Good evening, colleagues. Thank you for joining us for this live stage show tonight, where we are going to be talking about real stories, real voices, with the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health. My name is Mike Mbizo. I am currently the Director for Population Council Office in Zambia. And the partnership has a number of partners whom it has brought together, more than 1,300 partners within the Partnership for Maternal Newborn Health. And so we're really pleased that it's a partnership that's going across the board, looking at children, looking at mothers, looking at adolescents in terms of their well-being, and in terms of adolescent health. Now, as we get to the second stage of the Sustainable Development Goals, there is a great need for innovative solutions and strategies if we are to achieve the necessary progress required to meet the 2030 deadline for universal health coverage of essential services, which includes sexual and reproductive health. So in recent years, we have seen an explosion of technology with the advent of internet, mass production of mobile devices, digital devices. We have seen them. We have also seen the digital technology in a platform that is very transformative in terms of possible solutions. And we feel that when this is correctly harnessed, there is potential to provide universal coverage of essential services, including those for sexual and reproductive health and rights. Its value is thus of particular significance to adolescents and youth. For instance, telemedicine has been noted to improve clinical management and extended coverage of sexual and reproductive health services for youth. During the pandemic in Indonesia, for instance, WhatsApp became a very useful tool in terms of reaching young people. And yet, despite this potential which it has, we still see that it has not been fully tapped. So today, it is my privilege to welcome two leaders in this space. Lucy, welcome, Lucy. A policy officer for social affairs at the UN Major Group for Children and Youth, a member of the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health Accountability Working Group, as well as co-chair for the Partnership Action Group. We also have Sahil Tandon from Packard Foundation, who is vice chair for the Under 30 of the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn, Child Health Strategic Advocacy Committee. So, Lucy, I would like, welcome. So I would like to start by asking you a question, Lucy. How do you think technology can aid elevating young people's voices on sexual and reproductive health and family planning, and bring them to platforms such as this conference we had and the Global Forum for Adolescents next year, We know that this is planned for October 2023 by the partnership. And certainly the participation of young people is very pertinent. So Lucy, have you got suggestions to share? Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. So just to introduce myself, I'm a young person, I'm an SRHR activist. And the thing I really wanted to start out by saying was that we as a movement, we as young people have already been leveraging technology, WhatsApp, online spaces to build our movement over time. The COVID-19 pandemic, obviously we heard a lot about how young people were shifting some of that activism online, but actually digital spaces have always been an opportunity to build safe spaces for young people to build communities and places where they can share experiences, share information, sometimes in contexts where actually being able to provide information on SRHR is really, really challenging. It's also been an opportunity for us to set agendas that aren't always in the mainstream, things that, queer rights, access to abortion. And this has been really, I think, monumental in terms of moving youth advocacy forward and giving us power. Technology, and for that reason, is going to be really critical. Empowering young people to leverage these spaces, which actually many of them are more familiar with than previous generations, to be able to set agendas in the lead up to the Global Forum on Adolescence, to make sure that their voices, their desires, their calls for accountability are really at the center of the forum. So we're not just talking about what do we think adolescents and young people want, right? We're asking them, we're hearing them, and we're accountable to them. So I think this is a huge opportunity, and I'm really excited about what it presents for us.
Excellent. So you think that it's an opportunity to hear their voices, to hear the stories they have in terms of access and utilization of services for sexual and reproductive health.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I would like to move now to Sahil. And I know that you've been talking and I've heard about this 1.8 billion. Maybe you'll elaborate on the 1.8 billion which has been shared, but in particular, whether this campaign which you are developing is an agenda for action for adolescents, and if so, if you can tell us and reflect on how young people's voices are going to be captured within this campaign. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, and hello, everyone. So thanks for calling attention to 1.8 billion. 1.8 billion is the number of youth, young people and adolescents in the world today, is the most that there have ever been young people. And so we're rallying behind this number, using it as the clarion call for talking about young people, what young people want, what adolescents want, what really they feel would work for their needs, their well-being, their futures. So in the work up to the Global Forum for Adolescence that both of you have mentioned in October 2023, what we're doing is going to young people using the same digital platforms, technology, innovative media and channels to meet them where they are, where they're most comfortable, where they're talking about their feelings, their lives, their experiences, the goods, the bads, and asking all of us how we can support them, how we can play a role in really pushing the agenda around adolescent and youth well-being. And so we're working through this year up till the Global Forum next year to shape the agenda for action for adolescents. It's a little wordy, but this agenda, a very comprehensive agenda, we hope, will be shaped, created, and led by adolescents and young people themselves. Through this year, in the form of a WhatsApp-enabled chatbot, we will be reaching young people, asking them to tell us how we can shape this agenda, what we should be putting in as asks, demands, aspirations, and using that as a key policy and advocacy tool to shape the discourse around adolescent well-being in the future.
That's very exciting indeed. I feel like a young person to benefit from that. So let me ask you both in terms of this technology, this era. Do you think that it is being used to its full potential in terms of having these adolescents serve as agents for change?
I'm happy to take that one first, and then I'll hand over to Sahil. So I think we've made a step along the journey, but there's a lot more we can still do. It's been really exciting, actually, this week at ICFP, seeing just how much technology and digital is on the agenda. I've been in spaces, before where we don't really talk about that, and the conversation has ranged really from digital interventions to digital rights, the opportunity to leverage online spaces for CSE, but also some of the challenges that we come across related to data privacy, how we start to navigate big tech when we're trying to promote and engage in content around SRHR. So it's the beginning of a conversation, and that's exciting. But one of the things we hear consistently from adolescents and young people when we talk to them is that actually they're very often not involved in these decisions around, how technology is developed or what technologies are used. So assumptions are often made, we're going to create an app, it's going to engage young people, it's going to give them voice. But the truth is, they already have their spaces that we should be leveraging rather than trying to replicate. And equally, as we do develop new technologies, it's really critical that young people are involved, because they can say, this is going to work for us, this isn't. We have concerns about data safety, our rights in this space, so we see a great opportunity here to reach out to other young people in our community who are more marginalized. So I think, it's been exciting, it's promising, but there's a way to go. But don't worry, because young people are there, we're pushing, and we are going to make sure that we're leading this agenda, that technology can work for us and the ways that we need.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Sahil, how are you also confident that indeed this can happen? How we can make young people the agents for the change that's required in sexual and reproductive health, including family planning?
Absolutely, Mike. I'm confident that the change is right around the corner and young people are going to be the agents of that change. But just as Lucy said, while there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of organizing and drive in young people and the agendas that they feel for, there is a lot of work that is incumbent on us, the community here at ICFP, the elders or olders, so to say. There's a lot of I think we need to hold their hands. We need to understand that young people are not just beneficiaries and target audiences, but they're equal partners. And if you're talking about adolescent and youth empowerment, leadership, well-being, we need to have them at the table, talking about what their lives are like, the challenges, the strengths, including, of course, SRHR, the family planning agenda, and letting them set the agendas, the action plans, the strategies, believing in them and truly supporting them as the community of practice invested in the future of the world.
Thank you very much. So we have heard from these experts, and certainly we look forward to the Global Forum for Young People, for Adolescents for 2023, as well as these innovations you are talking about in terms of mobilizing them to serve as agents for change. We really appreciate these efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.